thank you for your willingness to serve in this way here in the Synod. You probably know much of the story. This all began back at my very first Synod Council meeting. That would have been the September, right after I was installed. And all I did was ask the question, what is there that we could do together as a Synod that most every congregation would be willing to buy into, that could really make a difference in the lives of people in southeastern Minnesota? And it was wonderful to watch the conversation around the table. And what the group hit on was food insecurity. And I was so appreciative of that because that's been one of my passions. I know some of you have probably heard my own story about a time when we didn't have any food and used food stamps. And that was a really kind of a life-changing experience for me. And then further on down the line, another one of my real passions is doing everything we can to prevent domestic violence. And the way that I got kind of drawn into that was a young woman and her kids who came to a meal at our church because they were hungry. And eventually I discovered that she was a victim of domestic abuse. And that was where I realized all of the different struggles in society that are related to hunger. So, again, thank you for your willingness to be a part of this initiative. And this is ambitious, what we are setting out to do. Now, Peter, you're going to talk later about the $1.69 per pound? No, okay.
Or you can.
I can.
Either way.
One of the things, when we first met with Channel 1, one of the things we asked was, how many pounds of food move through your warehouse in a year? And at the time, I think it was around 8 million pounds. A year later, it was, I think, 9.3 million. We asked how many pounds would have to move through in a year for there to be no food insecurity in southeastern Minnesota. And they said probably somewhere in the range of 18 to 20 million pounds. So we have a number to double. What that means is over the next 5 years, to get to that goal, adding 2 million pounds per year, each year, for the next 5 years. So what I asked Pete to do was check with them and see what does that work out to dollar-wise. And they said that it's the equivalent is about $1.69 per pound. So what that means, if we are going to try to add 2 million pounds a year, that's a little over $3 million the first year. The next year it's 6, then 9, then 12, then 15, and then sustaining that. And obviously that's not something that we can do all by ourselves. And that's why we are seeking to draw in other partners into this with us. Already Channel 1, the Echo Food Shelf over in Mankato. I tomorrow am going to be having conversation with the Episcopal Bishop in Minnesota, who I've gotten to know over the past year and a half. He had expressed to me the Episcopal Church's interest in maybe somehow figuring out a way to partner with us here. I'm even going to try to call the Catholic Bishop in Winona and invite or ask him whether there's a way that we could do some partnering. And I so appreciate the partnership with the sisters here at Assisi Heights. So, Sister Alice, thank you so much for participating with us. I have a little booklet that I've been using for the last several weeks. It's called 99 Blessings and Invitation to Life. And on the blue sheet that was passed out is one of those blessings that I would like to share. Source of all blessings, you bless us with bread, fruit of the earth and work of human hands, gift of nature and of culture, primary image of all food and symbol of our human communion around a worldwide table. May I eat each morsel of bread with a gratitude that implies outrage at hunger. May I grow ever more famished for a justice that distributes food fairly, and do all I can until every child on earth has bread enough. I found that to be a powerful, powerful word. And notice that it's couched in the frame of a blessing. The blessing that food is, this gift of nature, this image of all food. Probably bread and maybe rice are the two things that sustain more people around the world than anything else. The symbol of our human communion. How often isn't gathering around the table somehow connected to bread? That we eat it with gratitude, but at the same time, outrage. That there are some who don't have it. And then that sense of being famished for justice, so that it's distributed fairly. And then that final call to do everything we can until every person on earth has enough. Enough food for all. Right below that is, I think it was in one of the, was it River Crossings? I forget, one of those articles anyway, one of my quotes. Our goal is that together we ensure that all people in southeastern Minnesota have consistent access to adequate and nutritious food. We understand that we Lutherans cannot solve these issues on our own. We want to partner with others who seek the same goal. And I talked a little bit earlier about some of those partners already and other partners who we seek. And if you know of others who might be interested, please let me know. I eventually hope to reach out to the Methodist bishop and the UCC bishop and invite all who are willing to join us.
State help a couple people, okay? Kelly and...
Oh, that's right, yes, yeah. Yes, thank you. Yep. It's a huge undertaking. But we can do this. We can do this. One of the things that I've found already is that almost every congregation, every ELCA congregation in our synod is already doing something related to feeding hungry people. Whether it's a food shelf or a community garden or a community meal or a backpack program or just maybe it's raising money for food share or something like that. My emphasis as I've been with congregations is to say, you do everything you can in your community to feed the hungry people in your community. And if every community does that, this will happen. And I know that we have an ELCA congregation in just about every community in southeastern Minnesota. Sometimes more than we need.
That was funny, because Channel 1 was looking for a partner for a food shelf in Mazeppa. We have no churches anywhere near Mazeppa. Go figure. I'm like, really? They found one.
There we go.
Let's go.
Ministry. And one of my favorite prayers is the prayer of St. Teresa. Lord Christ, you have no body on earth but ours, no feet but ours. Ours are the eyes through which your compassion must look out on the world. Ours are the feet by which you may still go about doing good. Ours are the hands with which you bless people now. All of which reminds me that we are the body of Christ in the world. We are Christ's hands and eyes and feet. We are the body of Christ in the world. Thank you for everything that you do